Aloha, this is Neil of Build a Model Railroad in 10 minutes a day. I picked up a 2x4 half-inch sheet of plywood from the big box store and cut off a foot because I need a module that's 2 foot by 3 foot. So all I did is measure it with my angle, clamp it down, and cut it with a battery-powered saw. After I did that, I gathered up some scrap 1x4s and went to my chop saw since I'm working on projects out in the patio. And I measured some pieces 3 feet long minus about an inch and a half because I want the end pieces to be 2 foot wide. So I measured these and cut them both at the same time. Always measure twice and cut once, right? Inch and a half. So we're going to make the ends add up to the overall 3 feet. So now we're going to need a couple of 24-inch 1x4s, and I decided to cut them out of the same piece of lumber since I had a nice piece. Hopefully it won't check or crack as I screw through it. Again, measure and cut. I don't think I need to give anybody any safety precautions, but clearly if you're using power tools, use good judgment, eyewear, and watch your fingers. So I check to make sure they're the same length. I'm going to cut a couple of 1x4s an inch and a half shorter than the 2 feet so I can space them inside the end pieces, and those are going to be used to hold the supporting legs in position, and you'll see that in a minute. One end of this piece of lumber didn't look so good, so I decided to use the other end. I decided to cheat a little here and use the piece I just cut as a guide. It helps make sure they're both exactly the same size. And there we go. So I'm going to get my piece of plywood out of the shed here and we'll set it up on some table saws, or some sawhorses rather. Clearly one sawhorse isn't enough, so I'm going to go grab another one. So we'll set this other sawhorse up in place. A little stable, a little more stable. And I'm going to lay out all these pieces of lumber on my half-inch plywood. This is all being built upside down, by the way, just so I can make sure everything's going to fit. So bear in mind this is 10 minutes a day, and this is literally less than 10 minutes. This whole video is about 8.5 minutes or so. But I actually cut the plywood, cut all these pieces, and I started to screw them together, but you can tell that the sun is going down pretty quick. So it looks pretty good. I'm going to go get some spacer blocks so that when my 2x2 legs go in, that they'll fit in there really nice and snug. For some reason I save all these bits and pieces from projects, so you'll end up using them if you just throw them all in a bucket until you need them. Mine happen to be in the wheelbarrow right next to me. Well, I also had an electric screwdriver nearby and a few screws, but at this point it's getting pretty dark and I'm wondering how much I can get done today. I'm going to go get them anyway and give it a try. So remember, you don't need to spend a lot of time building a model railroad every day. Just plan out what you want to do. Spend 10 minutes, maybe a little bit more, a little bit less. Be safe. It's amazing what you can get done. This happens to be an impact driver drill, so really helps avoid splitting or stripping screw heads, and they go in nice and tight. So I think I'll flip this thing around so tomorrow morning I can get up and put a few more screws in here, and then we'll meet back again. And kind of slippery out there, it's been raining today. We'll get back again tomorrow and I'll show you about attaching the top and applying some foam so we can work on the roadbed. So I hope this has inspired you all to get started on a project and just spend 10 minutes on it. Aloha.